ਕਲਾ ਦੇ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਖੇਤਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਕਲਾਕਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਜੋ ਕਲਾਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਜੋ ਉਪਜਦਾ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਜੈਂਟ ਕਰਦਾ, ਉਹਦੀ ਵਿਲੱਖਣ ਜਿਹੀ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਹੈ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਹੈਰਾਨੀ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਦੇਖੀਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੈਰ ਸਿੱਖਿਜ਼ਮ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਕਲਾ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਾਉਂਦਾ। ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਮਾਈਕਰੋ ਆਰਟ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਾਹਰ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਗ੍ਰੈਹਮ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਪੈਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਟੁੱਕ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਜੋ ਛੋਟੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਈਕਰੋਸਕੋਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉੱਤੇ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਚਿੱਤਰ ਬਣਾਇਆ। ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ 5 ਪਾਉਂਡ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੋਟ ਆ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਤਸਵੀਰ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਲਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੂਈ ਆ, ਸੂਈ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੱਕਾ, ਉਸ ਨੱਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਮੂਲ ਮੰਤਰ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਾਪ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਲਿਖਿਆ। ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ। ਗ੍ਰੈਹਮ, I would like say thank you very much. I saw your work is fantastic. How you get this idea to
I've engraved lots of different things, and the Golden Temple of Amritsar is beautiful, a beautiful building. Everybody accepts that. And I thought, I wonder if I could engrave it on the head of a pin. And 4 months later, I'd finished it. It took me that long to do. And it's one of the best I've done. I'm really pleased with the way it's worked out. And the temple here contacted me and asked me if I'd come in for this weekend celebration to show people. And that's what I really want. I want as many people as possible to see it because I'm proud of it.
And how you write, you know, I see that one needle and the needle on the little hole to write on in Punjabi, we say Gurmukhi.
The way I work is very unusual. I use very fine needles to work with, and I rub the points down as much as I can till I can hardly see them. I work from midnight till 5 a.m. Now I do that to avoid any vibration from passing traffic. If a lorry went past outside, it would feel like an earthquake through my microscope. I work through a powerful medical microscope. And I have a friend in Birmingham who owns 3 chemist shops, and he gives me tablets, which I take in the night. I take potassium, magnesium and beta blockers, and it lowers my heart rate tremendously. I wear a stethoscope while I'm working, and I monitor my heart rate. And I can get it to about 20 or 25 beats a minute, and I attempt then to engrave between heartbeats when I'm not moving. Every 3 months I have a course of Botox injections into my eyelids, and that ensures that there's no distraction from my nerves and muscles while I'm working. So it really is unusual.
You know, when you write and needle that time, where you learn that from? Because that is we call Punjabi and Gurmukhi word.
Yeah, I've always been an engraver. I left school at 15, no qualifications whatsoever, and I started a 6-year apprenticeship learning how to do copper plate engraving for stationery, letterheads, business cards, wedding invitations. And over the years, that work has died. I've always worked on my own. And it was probably 20 years ago, and that work, it just dropped off. People didn't want hand-engraved stationery anymore. And for the last 35 years, I'm actually the royal engraver. I've been engraving the stationery for Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, Balmoral and Sandringham. And also the House of Commons. If you have a letter from your MP, on the top of the letter you'll see a green portcullis and the London address. I do those. I've engraved for all the major investment banks in London, but the work died on me, and that's when I started to do the microscopic work. and it keeps me busy.
You put the exhibit here now today in Birmingham Smith Gurdwara, and how you get response from Sikh community?
The people who have seen my work this weekend are absolutely amazed, and you know that brings me so much pleasure. Each piece, I've engraved the Golden Temple, that took me 4 months, and I've also engraved Mulmanta inside the eye of a needle, and that was a 3-month job. But the reaction has been tremendous, and that I actually live for that, because it's quite stressful doing the work, but people's reaction is wonderful. And my plan, hopefully, is to take it round as many Gurdwaras in Britain as possible. I want as many people to see them and get the pleasure that I've got when it's finished.
What is your any ideas what you're doing the next project?
Actually, I'm working with Uri Geller, the spoon bender, and I'm sure you've heard of him. He lived in Britain, in Sonning-on-Thames in Berkshire. Now he's gone to live in Israel, and he's opened a Uri Geller museum in Tel Aviv. And I met him years ago, went to his house. He invited me to his house in Berkshire. He said, I've seen your work on the internet. Come along and tell me all about it. Couldn't believe it. So I went along with my wife and spent a day with him. He's got he had the most beautiful house in Berkshire. He's sold it now. But while I was there, he said, somebody's come over. He said, a friend of mine from America, I'd love you to meet him. So he went out and brought in Michael Jackson. And I couldn't believe I was talking to Michael Jackson. Unbelievable. Anyway, because they were friends, I've just finished engraving a gold pin, and I've put the smallest portrait of Uri Geller, and he's holding a bent spoon, and on the spoon is standing Michael Jackson. So I've sent it over to him. He had it just a few days ago, and it's in his museum. As for the next job, I don't know. I've really got to think of something.
What would you like to say to Sikh community?
The Sikh community, I really admire your religion. I took an interest in Sikhism several years ago. I was reading the news and I saw in New Orleans they had the Hurricane Katrina, and I was so impressed. The Gurdwara was flooded out. It was about 9 feet deep with water. Nobody was allowed in, and it took a while until it was safe for the Sikhs to go back in. And I read that when they got in there, the Guru Granth Sahib was actually on a table that was floating. It hadn't been touched. An absolute miracle. And then they worked hard to put the temple right. But while they were doing it, and this is what really impressed me, they spent time going out into the community, helping others who had lost everything. And I think you've got a wonderful religion. You should be so proud of it.
Thank you very much for your time, and good wishes for the working hard and Sikh community proud for these things.
Thank you. Everybody's been so kind and helpful.
Because,
lovely people.
Because you done is great work, and we see first time it's like that, and much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.